Okay, now it says the broadcast is
Okay, we're live.
live.
So, hi everyone. Today I have with me virtually Liza, which, who is known for her YouTube channel Treasure Season. And yeah, I think the first or most obvious and polite question to ask is, how are you today?
I'm well, all things considered. All things considered, I'm well. When people ask me at work, "How are you today?" I will always say, "Living the dream," and I would be on like the copy machine, like, "Yeah, you really living that dream." Very sarcastic.
Yeah, okay. So you don't so you don't feel like your life is that perfect at the moment? Or, I mean, like, are there a lot of dreams that you still want to accomplish?
Um, I don't think that when I would say at work, "I'm living the dream," that I dreamt of being at a copy machine or sitting in a cubicle so closely spaced to people. Before the lockdown, the office I was working in went through a configuration where they put us all together
Okay.
like chickens.
And how does it work now that you probably have to wear the masks all the time?
No, well,
Are there no
I was working from home after the shutdown, so it was calmer for me because I noticed that I used to sit by a window and I used to have like a big 38 screen inch monitor in front of me, and the sunlight was coming into my left eye. I started thinking that I'm having like eye problems. I had gone to the eye doctor. He was like, your prescription's just fine. I'm going to give you a stronger prescription for when you look at the monitor. Um, and I did this all before my car accident. And my car accident, basically, I took those new glasses, just reach over, put them on, and all of a sudden I get into this accident where my car flips itself over, um, totals itself, and I'm upside down. And I'm pushing myself out of the car, and I'm saying to myself, "Well, there's no way I want to be grabbed out of this car or put in the hospital because I already knew what was going on."
Yeah, I heard you talk having a near-death experience in your videos, but you didn't really, at least in the videos I saw, you didn't really describe what exactly you happened to you or what you saw or whatever. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, and the thing is like when I do videos, I try to be because I always like seem to approach things like I think other people are energy sensitive. So I'm always trying to be strong and not specific because there's something about me that doesn't want to feel like dramatic. Um, but what happened was when I was upside down, something said to me, "You're gonna crawl out of this car," and it was just a voice.
Mm-hmm.
My my I just did it. Like there was pure adrenaline, pure forcefulness that came through my spirit that I never experienced before. Um, and when I got out of my car, the cops were already there. They looked at me like, okay, obviously she's well, because a lot of like it happened 5 blocks away from my house. So a lot of people thought, oh, this person is probably texting on their phone, or they're probably drunk driving, or because it made no sense. My accident. I hit a parked car at 15 miles an hour, very slow. Barely made any damage to his car. And when I got out of the car, I was just stunned. My shoes were in the car. I came out. I only had socks on. I was on the ground, and I just looked at everything, and I just pretty much just was stunned and very centered and wanting to show like, please don't publish this on the news. Please don't. Like, I'm fine. Like, I totally wanted to show that I was fine. And then the person of the parked car, he lived in that house, and he came out and he said, "This is minimal damage. I'm glad you're okay." He hugged me. He's like, "God obviously wants you to be here." And then he gave me like a small little pamphlet of the Bible, the Book of John, Living Water. And I'm not a religious person. Religion has been it's been a struggle in my upbringing because I have so many different religions in my home. But I always did believe in a higher power. But I always said, I believe. I'm not trying to test God. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
So would you say that like the spiritual part of this was the voice you heard in your head when this happened and the reaction of the man afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah. And how did this change your perspective maybe on your life, or have you made some lasting changes in your life after
Yeah, I
that?
mean, I have been making a lot of changes where I understand that I'm not in control of everything, even though I've accomplished a lot of things. And I thought, okay, I'm working towards something, but a lot of things fell apart. And at that moment, I believed seriously, like, maybe I signed up for this.
So did you have any new insights maybe about what your mission is in life, or something specific, or was it just that you had more of a sense of a mission in general?
Well, I have a neighbor who lived right by the 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 point of the accident, and he's like a father figure to me. He's seen me for the past 10 years, and he he asked me, like, did you ask God what your purpose was? And I was like, even if he told me, I wouldn't even believe him. Like, I'm just trying to take it day by day here. I'm glad that I was able to walk home and be with my dogs and walk the next day, get my rental. I walked 5 miles to get a rental. I went to work the following day. All those things were miraculous to me.
Mm-hmm. So just appreciating everything in life more than before.
Even when I go to sleep, I'm like, well, I hope I go to sleep and I hope I wake up. But even when I wake up, I'm like, well, I'm grateful I'm awake. Because truly, I live for my animals. I live to take care of them. There's nothing that drives me more than them.
How many do you have? How many pets?
I have 2 little dogs and 1 cat. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should start asking some more INFJ specific questions.
Sure.
I don't know. Um, the question that just came to my mind when you said that is, would you think that INFJs are more like dog people or cat people?
Well, I think introverts in general are like cats. They're graceful. They conserve their energy. They don't need that much of attention from everybody, but just select few. That's what I witnessed.
But INFJs are also known for being loyal and great friends. Or, I mean, I think they really have. They have also some of the more of the traits of, you know, that
Friendly
are
dog.
associated with the dogs. Yeah.
Right. So growing up, I actually was scratched by a cat where I developed fear for cats. So the fact that I had a cat in my early 20s, he passed away. This is why I started the channel, because I wanted to kind of record the ending of that cycle. My cat was 17 years old. He passed but 2 years ago, exactly when I started this channel. Um, but he was very vocal. He was not a typical cat. A typical cat.
Okay, so I learned that before your current channel, you had another channel also based on MBTI things. Like I think it was called Lily INFJ, and maybe you want to share a little bit about your journey as a YouTuber and why you decided to end this channel and eventually start a new one.
Well, before Lily INFJ, I had a channel called Being My Own Friend. So that was when I was journeying through my own stuff, like losing my job, mourning the death of my ex-husband, and I didn't focus on being an INFJ, but like when I started getting more of an audience, to me, hitting 100 is to me is a lot. I took that down, but I took the MBTI once. I never focused on INFJ things. When I came back as Lily INFJ, I did connect with certain INFJs, but I also witnessed a couple of people being targeted by the type police and making videos off of them saying, no, they're not an INFJ. And that really, really hurt me that they had to go through that. So that's why I took myself down as Lily INFJ, because I just thought I'm more than an INFJ.
Oh, okay. So you didn't want to be limited to that one label.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not the best with transitions between
Oh, no, you
questions.
did great. You did great.
And it's also probably harder when you're not a native speaker. So, in one of your videos, you mentioned that you think INFJs have an all or nothing approach to many things. Would you say would you say they have this in all areas of their life, or maybe just for certain things?
From what I see, yes, all areas. Because I witnessed it in my own experience, and even having sit downs with INFJs and seeing other INFJ videos. Like, they're very focused when they love something, and if they don't feel like they're making a difference, then they'll do nothing. That's what I see, and I've seen it in myself too.
Yeah, I think when something, the more something matters to us, the more we get into this all or nothing mindset, right? Like, I don't think I'm like that with all things in my life, but just certain projects where I really put my heart and soul into, I tend to do them like obsessively.
Me too.
But in other things, I think it's easier for me to exert moderation, basically, as an INFJ. Yeah. Another thing I found interesting when watching your videos or also reading your comments is that you put an emphasis on how we don't have to fix other people. But I'm sure as an INFJ you'd agree that we can like contribute to the healing of someone. So how would you define the difference between trying to fix someone and helping someone to heal themselves, maybe?
And I don't know if you know this, but I didn't really focus on being an INFJ till, or know about being an INFJ till I was in my mid 30s. So in the beginning of my development, I always just filled holes for people because I just saw them, and it's still a common theme. Like I can see the emotional baggage people carry. Just today, I was walking back from the store, and I saw a man that goes to that same store. He was in a wheelchair, and he was about to cross the street, and then I saw a car coming, so I stand in the middle of this oncoming car to make sure that they don't hit the man that's in the wheelchair. Um, but a lot of what I do is very silent. Um, he didn't ask me for help. He didn't like. Sometimes we just see things like that other people don't see. But I've lost friendships because I I've stepped in for people to help them, and then they resented me. So if no one's asking me for help, I won't give help. And a lot of times I have to redirect all that wanting to help the outside to lead by example.
Mm-hmm. But in case someone asks you for help, or maybe wants to be helped, how do you think? Wait a minute. I think I have to rephrase my question.
Well, let me just interrupt you. The INFJ, if you ever read about the INFJ, it's the advocate, and it's set, and it clearly states, "Help me, help you." I don't want to help you by being your crutch. I want to help you by helping yourself. So it's not like a long-term help. It's like a short-term help. Like, let me show you where you can develop, and now you help yourself. Like, help me, help you.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll just ask my next question then. In one of your videos, you said that growing up, the never-ending story was one of your favorite movies, and I like this movie as well, even though overall it's a little weird. I think it's very extroverted intuition, like all this whole fantasy world and so on. But what I really love is the scene with the magic mirror gate, where the hero, Atreyu, has to face his true self in the mirror, in this mirror. And before he goes to that gate, there is I think some kind of wise creature or something talking to him and saying that most people cannot bear to look at their true selves in the mirror, and that they run away screaming or something like that. And I thought this scene is probably something that a lot of INFJs really find meaningful, but maybe also other IN types, or I don't know, like, because we are really obsessed with understanding ourselves, integrating different parts of our personality, and so on. And so why do you think, do you think it's easier for INFJs to face their true selves than for others? Or do you think it's just more important maybe to us than to other people to find out who we truly are and accept it?
There's also a book out there that's called "When the Student Is Ready, the Teacher Will Show Up," or it's very Buddhist like. I don't know if it's limited to INFJs, but INFJs seem to be the ones that want to reach understanding of others and self-actualization as well as anybody else. But there's also the the story of the mirror is in Snow White, where the queen asks who's the fairest of them all, and she didn't want to hear it's Snow White. Like sometimes when we go in the mirror, we're like, we look at the mirror and we want to see our virtues. Most of us do. Now, when I grew up, I had acne, so I would get like really, really big, large, cystic pimples right here in the middle of my nose. And I knew
Well, a lot of teenagers do.
when I went to school, there was no hiding it whatsoever. So it was funny to me how going through that helped me see, like, I don't want people to lie to me and say, you don't see what I'm seeing. Like, everyone can see it. But what's skin deep, not everyone can see. And that's great. I think it's great. It's a way to mask ourselves. It's a way to protect ourselves. It's a way to evolve and develop in a different way that's not surface level. But at the same time, when I went through relationships, a lot of those relationships, they just wanted to hear the positive things that I saw, their virtues. They didn't want me to mention the fact that they run away from problems, or they're repeating behaviors, or they're not expressing their thoughts or emotions.
Okay, so you mean that INFJs function as the mirror who reflects the true selves of other people back to them sometimes? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can see that in myself too, but when it comes to our own selves, yeah, once again, do you think INFJs somehow have an easier time to get to know themselves, or is it just that they are willing to put more work into this, basically?
Well, I mean, even though it seems like a nice thing to try to help others, but it could be a crutch. It could be a fatal flaw to try to help others, because when you're so focused externally, I've been told, like, why are you trying to fix me? Why are you trying to fix me? Why isn't not anything good enough for you? Then that could be an insult as well. So that's why I tend to like isolate. I tend to not want to be around people. Because most people just want to have a good time. They don't want to see themselves as broken or any of this. And I used to like see myself as broken. I used to buy a whole ton of self-help books because I saw myself as broken. And then I recognized that there's a big market for brokenness. So for me, I particularly think that my breaking free moment was when I learned to accept who I am and then pull back on the things that were very unnecessary. If no one's asking me for help, I'm not going to solicit. And maybe I'm going to take all that energy that I put out there back into myself to say, maybe I'm not broken. And then there's like an energetic, like a fill when you accept yourself. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure how to phrase this now. So, okay, what do you think are the best ways an INFJ can just learn to help themselves or stand up for themselves more?
It's funny because I've stepped up for a lot of people. I've stepped into disharmony to make things harmonious for others, but I did not know how to do that for myself because it's uncomfortable. Oh, I thought we dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen many INFJs step up for others, but not for themselves, and that's the biggest struggle to redirect that energy, because and I've seen this dynamic play, like they say empaths attract narcissists, or INFJs can be narcissistic, and I've dropped that extreme language. Maybe in some degree, I've admired people who don't feel as much as I do, and I've admired that, because I've depleted myself trying to give and give and give and give, to the point where like my battery was so drained. I'm like, oh my God, I have nothing left for myself. And
Yeah, but
it was never second nature to take care of myself, because I thought that
yeah,
was
but how did you get out of this, or how did you change this pattern?
little by little, day by day. It's still a thing. But I redirected my care for others to things that will never give back to me. Like I feed the birds in the morning, I take care of my animals. I do things very anonymously, that like I express gratitude to life for giving me the energy to give. And I just had to do it in a way where like I'm keeping my cup full and just giving for my overflow, instead of trying to prove anything to anybody. Like I don't know how to describe it.
Would you call this mindfulness, maybe? That it's mindfulness that helped you to become more aware, maybe also of your own needs, and or
Yeah, 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 totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay. As you also mentioned gratitude, of course, and as it's Thanksgiving tomorrow in the US, I thought, and you also mentioned, I think, that after. Is it that after your experience, you started a gratitude journal, or did you start that before that already?
I started it a long time ago, because I know that as you count your blessings, they just increase. And I started to want to see even the painful things as a blessing.
So right now in your life, what are the 3 things you are most grateful for?
Well, I have 3 animals. I wake up every day being grateful for them. I go to sleep being grateful for them. Basically, that I'm still standing, that I can still feel, because I remember what it was like to be numb. What's the third thing? Just being able to appreciate the smallest things.
Is it true that you're also into astrology and or tarot?
Well, I was, and I am, and I've explored a lot of things. I think before this MBTI thing, I explored astrology, it helped me organize my mind in a certain way because astrology is about the elements, air, water signs, um, fire, air, water, fire. I'm missing one. Earth, earth.
Uh,
So then
yeah,
there's, yeah, and then there's 4 seasons where I live, right? So it just helped me, I guess, mentally organize elements and seasons,
mhm.
and knowing that every 3 months things change. Right now we're in a fire season. That's my. I'm a fire sign too. I tend to like understand or witness, like I do well in fire seasons. I don't have any water in my chart. Maybe have one placement in water. Probably that's my toughest season.
You're you're Leo, right?
Yeah,
You're Leo with moon and Taurus, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Would you also give away your rising sign?
Sagittarius. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have double fire,
Uh,
one earth. Yeah.
I'm all water and earth.
You
I'm
are.
a Cancer, and
You
I
are.
have a moon and my rising sign in Virgo. So,
Oh, you're earth. You're water and earth. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I thank you for doing this because I think when I witness someone else volunteer people to interview them, they ran into certain crazies. So I almost wanted to warn you too.
Okay. Yeah. Um, um, so do you know a little bit about tarot and the tarot cards and the different meanings of the tarot cards? Or
Um, do I like? I can't say I would become a tarot reader, but I do find inspiration in them. Like I'm gonna get a deck. Hold it. I'll be right. It's right over here. Oof. So this one in particular drew me because it's angels and the ancestors, and I just like the art.
okay,
Yeah.
so
So
those are oracle cards,
is that
um, which I'm also interested in. But I was referring to like the classic tarot with the standard version, basically, with the major and minor arcana and so
I mean,
on.
I've explored it. I love hearing tarot readers. I really do. I do
Mm.
have a certain affinity towards hearing them because they have a way of explaining um, tower moments or the emperor or the queen of swords. But I can't personally say I know too much in depth.
Okay, because unfortunately I became, well, almost addicted for some time to watching tarot readings on
I
YouTube.
still am to a
Uh,
certain degree. I am. Yeah. I won't deny that.
and and yeah, INFJs in general are always interested in the future, right? And so I think probably many INFJs explore different forms of divination. And so, do you think that, yeah, is it an INFJ thing to want to know the future, or is it for you, or is it more about getting deeper insights about current things in your life?
Well,
Or
I think they say that NI is future oriented, so that could be a thing. Um, but I have witnessed certain INFJs rejected because they're very into their religion, and divination in the Bible says it's not a great thing. Again, it is what it is. But I personally think that human beings, aside from INFJs, human beings want to hold on to hope, um, predict a more hopeful future. Maybe that's why I've been drawn to tarot. I don't reject it either. Growing up with people who taught me the Bible, there were a lot of different versions of it, and a lot of it said, okay, the end of the world is coming, and it makes you succumb to fear, but all of it is control. So we could think of possible outcomes, but we don't have. I don't think that we have control over it. We could just think of the possibilities of hopefulness or doom and gloom, but I think it's like just a way to entertain the mind, but like at the same time, not be so close to thinking that we can control it. I witnessed one personal person I used to follow. She took down her channel. She had 40,000 subscribers, and she was into witchcraft and tarot, and something happened where like all of her followers were saying, you're suffering from PTSD, you're this, you're that, the other. But I also think that we have to keep technology in check, because it could be in a source of addiction, and then we could feel bad for it. Yeah, I can't say that I know the answers. Like I don't. I can share what's happened to me along the way. A lot of tarot readers have helped me. I can't say they haven't. A lot of religious people have helped me. Yeah.
Okay, so aside from the INFJ, which would you say are your maybe 3 other favorite MBTI types?
So from my own personal experience, and I only speak of people who are confirmed MBTI types, because when I started like exploring and sharing, for me, it personally went from astrology to MBTI to Enneagram, and then I explored human design. So there was like layers of, okay, there's layers of formats, of foundations, of proclivities, of behaviors, but ENTJ, I only have one ENTJ friend. INTJ, I was married to. INFP, I have various of them in my life. ENFP, various of them in my life. But I can't tell anything else. I mean, I am in a relationship with an ISFJ, but like I was in a relationship with an ISTJ, but everyone is their own world, and it's hilarious sometimes.
But in general, so most of the types you mentioned are intuitive types. So do you feel like, how do you feel about senses in general?
Sensors
in comparison to
sensors have helped me have a better sense of direction, a better sense of trying to develop my own practical and concrete skills. Yesterday I took a drive and I didn't use my GPS. I actually tried to remember my sense of direction, and that's not something I used to do. Sensors, I think my mom is a sensor. Sensors have helped me like discipline myself, like set up, meals for the rest of the week if I can. Those kind of things are boring. Doing laundry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom is a censor. But the thing is, where me and her clash is like every time we'll speak, she's like, "What'd you eat today? What are you gonna eat tomorrow? What are you gonna eat today?" Like that kind of stuff like drives me nuts. Like we'll be eating breakfast, and she's like, "What do you want to eat for lunch?" I'm like, "Oh my god, really?"
Yeah. I know this. My mom is an ESFJ,
Oh,
and yeah, she's similar in this regard. Yeah.
that's sweet.
Well,
And you have one INTP brother?
yes, I do. But with my brother, the thing is, I think he doesn't make the most of his intellect and intuition. I think he's kind of lazy, and so well, it's a little bit sad.
Was this
Anyway,
was he the firstborn?
he's the firstborn.
Oh,
Yes,
he is. Okay.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and do you have?
I have one INTP. Wait, is it one or two INTP friends? They find a lot of value in the way they think. Not in everything they do, but in the way they think. They and this is what I've witnessed, particularly about the difference between INTP and INFJ. I hope INTPs don't hate me at this point, but I live in my emotion, and I think the heart is the most electromagnetic, powerful source of absorption in feelings and emotions, but a lot of people think it's the mind. And that's where I see like where I clash with INTPs. And I don't hate them or anything, but I see them as over logical and they see me as over emotional. And I usually go to them when I'm overly emotional to get a little more logical. But they won't come to me to be overly emotional. It's emotion is like the ENTJ is
Can you
like
please?
logic. I don't understand your feelings. It's all about logic.
It's a funny thought, like NT types coming to us asking, like, can you please teach me how to be overly emotional, or how can you teach me how to take everything to heart? Okay. Um,
I'm trying
yes.
not to take everything to heart, but I do. I can't say I don't. I do. I can't. You know, it's I've always tried to reject my own heart, and I think things got better when I stopped. I mean, I'm not gonna change. I could just try to understand myself and know when I'm not being loving towards my own heart. Because again, my animals are the only ones that say, "Mommy, I love you. I love who you are to us." It's the look in their eye, like, or even the birds in the morning, or the squirrels that look at me, like they look at me like, "I love you." You know, they don't even have to say it.
Do you think INFJs often experience like inner conflicts between what their mind says and what their heart says? Yeah.
I know I do, and I know the ones that I've interacted with. Yes.
Yeah, I have experienced this too, but I think it takes a little bit of work to kind of synchronize them, right? To maybe, for example, think more loving thoughts, but also sometimes, yeah, control your feelings a little bit, like not in a overly rigid way, but you know that you can.
But for me, when I try to control them, when I see myself, like especially when I was at work, now that I'm not in the office, like it was me constantly, okay, control your feelings. And then at lunchtime I would like explode in laughter, or the tension that I created in myself, like I had to release it. Or I would come home and I would cry. Um, because I knew where I couldn't express them. But the more I contain, they would have to release somewhere. Somewhere they had to release. And I'm an Enneagram 8, so a lot of my approach comes very physically. Like I have a punching bag in my basement. I have to let out that tension with a punching bag. I like singing. I like dancing. I like walking. A lot of the tension that I built up because I've been trying to control myself comes out physically. I have to have those outlets. So I don't hold it in my heart where I'm, because it's like I used to feel bad about crying, because my mom always used to make me feel bad about crying, but she can't cry anymore. And then it's like, I feel like there's no release there. It's a numbness there. And I know what it's like to be numb. I've been on anti-anxiety pills. I've witnessed myself be numb. And I liked it, actually. I did. I liked it. I'm like, ooh, they're not affecting me. I could like look them in the eye and not run away. Like, this is nice. It's so tempting to be numb. It's so tempting.
Yes, okay. Well, I think I'm starting to run out of questions.
Good. How is it for you? How do you this is your first, right?
Yeah. Awkward.
Was it awkward? Just, I thought it would be easier for you because all I have to do is respond and you just have to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely even more difficult than being interviewed. Yeah. I think. Yeah, it is. I think I'm better at responding than asking the right questions at the right time. But well,
no, I think you did great. I mean, again, I witnessed your interview and I was like, oh my goodness. He started your interview like, what's the frequency like there? I'm like, why are you asking?
Yeah.
Frequency? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I understood what he was he meant by that, but it's not that easy to answer. Yeah.
No, it's a very advanced question, by the way. Like New York, everyone knows New York is high paced. Everyone knows it. So, but I wouldn't know. I've been to Netherlands. I've been to London. I've been to Spain, France, and other parts of the U.S. And all I can say is New York is the fastest pace there is for me. But I've never been to Germany. Well,
I've been to New York City
you have?
a long time.
Cool. How was that? Was that overwhelming?
That was a long time ago, and so as a teenager, and I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest, because I came with such huge expectations that there would be so much going on everywhere in the streets or whatever, and then it was where I was, it was kind of peaceful and quiet most of the time.
Where did you go?
I don't remember. Like I was just I think our hotel was close to this, what's it called, Flatiron Building or something.
Yeah, you were by 14th Street or 36th, around there. Okay, that's a nice area.
And I was everywhere, like Central Park, Times Square, and so on. But it was a little bit different than I expected. but not just that. It was interesting. Yeah. So thanks a lot for volunteering and letting me interview you. And
well, thank you. I hope this was good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can only learn from this and improve my communication skills, I hope.
You're doing great. Yep.
Thanks. So have a nice day and till the next time. Right?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.